Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. I'm Travis and today we're going to be listening to Miyavi Running in My Head. Now this is the first time I've ever heard of this artist, so it's going to be a new artist on my channel, and of course, anytime you have a new artist on your channel, it's always a learning experience trying to find out the energy they bring. The genre of music is always interesting, so it's always a new energy, a new feeling, and always trying to figure out the message behind their music. That's usually a hard task that I do try to do first time listening to an artist. Yeah, I mean, if you guys find yourself, it's always so uncomfortable for me to say this, but if you guys find yourself returning to my channel and you guys have been a subscriber or you've been always finding yourself here, I do have a Patreon. If you guys want to support, I would definitely greatly appreciate that. It feels so uncomfortable even saying that because I feel like I'm shelling out. I've never ever asked anybody about Patreon or subscribing, but it's such an uncomfortable feeling for me to say that. Probably by the time of this video, I probably made a Discord as well, so if I do have a Discord, definitely check that out. I've been trying to build a community up. I would love to have a community, and I know people are predominantly Japanese. I'm learning Japanese, so it'd be cool to be able to communicate in our different languages, Japanese, English. Maybe I can learn some Japanese, you can learn some English, or other foreign people. I would love to have kind of like a diverse community where people can kind of share languages and music, and it'd be really cool. So definitely check that out in the description, and let's get into it.
For
I love this. This was freaking awesome, dude. I didn't think I'd like it as much as I did. Dude, I like that a lot. You know, the thing about new artists is when I really like an artist like that, I just want to do another song of theirs. Now I really want to explore a lot of his music, but I also have to stop myself from listening to more of his music because it wouldn't be a genuine first reaction. You know, it's always interesting to discover Japanese artists and they sing in such perfect English. You know what I mean? Like the first time I've ever heard of One OK Rock in his English, I was like, what the heck? Like I was instantly thinking about, I'm going to be sending this to people that I know because this sounds like something that I might hear on the radio, for example. I wouldn't think this was a Japanese artist listening to it. Like, is this a freaking Gundam? Like, I'm curious. I mean, I remember Gundams used to be a thing back when I was like, I don't know, I feel like I was like 10 years old, maybe like 20 years ago. I vaguely remember Gundam. I mean, I guess maybe, if anything, if I remember something similar to this, I remember like the Megazord, like Power Rangers. Yeah, I try to kind of speak on some of the lyrics though. I mean, you know, I hear those voices calling out to me, feels like I'm trapped inside my head, trapped and running inside my head. I think we can all relate to this because just like the last artist that I did, Raol, where it said, boredom breeds sorrow. In a way, it kind of, there is a little bit of similarities there where being trapped inside your head, you know, it could be something as simple as boredom. When you're bored and you have no motivation, at least with me, I know when I have no motivation or no goals or anything like that, I know that's kind of when I start thinking about stuff. I have time to think about stuff. I become a lot more self-aware. And for me, it could also, just like with a lot of people, you know how they say comparison is a thief of joy? You know, when you become very self-aware, you start to think about, I'm speaking from personal experience, but you start thinking about things that you're lacking in life, or maybe you're not where you want to be in life, you know what I mean? The goals you haven't accomplished, or how somebody that you know is doing better than you at this point in life and you feel like you're falling behind. It's just something simple as that. Like being trapped inside your head is like the worst feeling. You're fighting a battle against yourself and nobody's aware of it, so nobody can save you but you. It's not a good place to be. You know, anybody that is dealing with depression or sadness, anything of that nature, you know, like what happens up here is like the scariest place one can imagine, really. That's when the real war begins. Yeah, it really gives me the idea of just somebody that is going through that internal battle inside their head. I mean, we all do it, and you know, we all do it in some form or fashion. It could be something mild where, you know, you're fighting if this job's even worth it, going to this job that you absolutely despise and you hate, but you have to do it because it supports you. You know, there's that battle every day of, is it worth it? Is it worth it? And you have to convince yourself to get up every day and to keep going. You know, it could be on a more serious aspect where it's like you don't know if you want to keep going on this life that you're living. Really depends on the severity, but we all do have that internal battle that we're going on, that we're dealing with inside our brains. To what extent, you know, that's only for you to really decide. If it's a more serious battle, I would definitely recommend talking to somebody, and definitely recommend getting some help, whether it's therapy. I don't know what extent therapy is in Japan. I don't exactly know, but therapy is very expensive. But definitely find some hobby, some outlet, something you enjoy doing. Definitely find something to alleviate that stress, that turmoil you're going through. Find some way to, you know, resolve it, or find some good to combat the bad, you know? And the last thing is Visual Kai. I don't have too much experience with, but he really kind of has like a little bit of a Visual Kai kind of look. You know, it's kind of what I had when I first listened to Dexcore, where, I mean, granted, Dexcore kind of had what I would say kind of like the gothy type of like kind of makeup a little bit, you know, around the eyes and stuff, but he kind of has that, but he had like a leather jacket. He kind of had that like dark punk rock kind of vibe to him. I don't know, he seems a little bit like a Visual Kai, like a more mild Visual Kai kind of guy. I don't know, I like his look though, I really do. You know, what he had? He had like locks around. Yeah, I mean, come on, dude. Yeah, he has a Visual Kai aesthetic, from my limited understanding of what Visual Kai is. So definitely let me know if he has that, if he's a visual Kai artist or not, but he does give me that type of like vibe. But let me tell you, I freaking love this artist though. I am 1 billion% returning this artist, and that's like I was saying, it's a good thing, but it's the bad thing. Good thing for you guys if you guys enjoy this artist, because when I enjoy the artist, you know I'm coming back to him. You know I'm coming back to this guy. I like this guy. But for me, it's a bad thing because now I want to listen to all his music, but I can't because I have to react to more of his music in the future, and it's got to be a legitimate first reaction. So it's like, oh, I like this artist, and I want to binge their music, but I can't. I'm not allowed. I like him. He's freaking good, dude. So definitely recommend the next song you want me to react to when it comes to his music, or recommend other similar sounding artists or just other bands you haven't heard before. Yeah, this is a 10 out of 10 song for me. I like this. As always, I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.